My name is Colin Trudeau, and I am the Director of Organizational Development for Blackman Mooring and BMSCATO. And I want to take a minute and I want to introduce you to BMSCATO. So as you can see on my screen right here, BMSCATO is kind of a one-stop shop for everything associated with Blackman Mooring, all of our documentations, all of our scopes, all that kind of information. And I do want to stop for a second, and yes, I realize it's actually spelled CATO, but because our name is BMSCAT, we call it BMSCATO. So by now, most of you guys should have received your login information through a separate email. So all you got to do is put in your username, which username should be the first letter of your first name plus your last name, and then your password, and that should get you access. If you have any issues at all, contact the help desk at 817-810-5666, or you can also email them at helpdesk@bmsmanagement.com. So once you're in here, and I would encourage you to come in here and play around for a little bit, but inside of BMSCATO, you can, all your marketing assets, which is more for the sales and marketing team, all their collateral, if you need logos for anything, past Tom Talks, and Tom Talks are messages that Tom Head, our president, actually sends out to everybody. He does those every so often. You can go back and look at some of the different things that we've done over the years associated with that. If you need to order business cards, if you need to order t-shirts, shirts, or name badges or anything like that, you can order them straight through this area. And then your resources. So certain jobs you do with national accounts, you'll have daily updates that you need to log in here. If you need a scope of work, again, this may be more on the sales side of things, but all of our scopes of works are in here along with our contracts. Your employee resources are going to have all your employee handbooks and things of that nature. What may be of interest to you guys is driver resources. If you need to get somebody approved to be a driver, all of those resources would be in this area here as well. So I want to look at training, and specifically I want to come down all the way down here to the bottom, which is our safety department, safety area. And within the safety area, you're going to have a couple different buttons you can choose from. First off, I'm going to show you forms. So if you need a job hazard analysis for a project, especially if you have a sales rep that comes to you and says, hey, the client wants one of these on site, this is where you can come to get one. And you can click on that green button, download one, and you can fill it out. If you have an accident, somebody gets injured, or an auto accident, all your forms are also listed right here as well. So this is, I will tell you, this whole section and everything on BMSCATO is constantly changing. So it's constantly evolving. We're constantly adding additional forms and different things to it. If you need a copy of a specific section out of our safety manual, our entire safety manual is here for you. Now, there are quite a few different chapters. As you can see, there's 43 different chapters on here. And not all these chapters are really short either. So, for example, if you come into our respiratory program, when you go in there and take a closer look, this is actually a 44-page document that completely spells out our entire respiratory protection program. You'll get more training on this a little bit later on as part of being a safety advocate. So the areas I really want to show you are the awareness training. Awareness training and toolbox talks are the two types of training we have. Toolbox talks are typically short. They're 10-15 minutes. We ask that you do them once a week. Awareness training is going to be more in depth. It's going to take a little bit longer. It can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on which awareness training you're going through. And the way we have this laid out, we only have a handful in here because this is a very new section, but we're constantly adding to this. So, for example, I'll come in here, and if you look and you see that you have respiratory protection, you have PowerPoint, you have handouts associated with it, and you also have presenter notes. So I actually want to take you into presenter notes and kind of give you a better idea of what those are. So with the PowerPoint, you have what's up on the screen, so your employees can be watching you as you're doing the instructing. The presentation notes, as you come in here, there's instructions on how to utilize it, the forms that you need to fill out, where to send those forms, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then as you get into it, you could literally come down here and start reading from your presenter notes and not necessarily have to read off the slides. There's actually more information here. We try to make this as easy as possible to make sure that you as a safety advocate are able to do these presentations even though you may not be a subject matter expert yet. This will help you get to that point. So again, going back into the awareness training, there is a sign-in sheet. With the sign-in sheet, All you got to do is pretty self-explanatory. Put your name, your location, who did the training. And it doesn't always have to be you that does the training. It could be literally anybody that you feel is competent. The awareness training, we would prefer somebody to have an OSHA 30 in order to do this. But especially when we get into toolbox talks, it doesn't always have to be that person. So the class participants, please write their name legibly and have them sign that they actually participated in it. The T is if you have a temp on site, we would ask that you actually circle that. That helps us know that they are a temp and they're not actually in our system. When you're done, if you will send this form into training at BMS Management, we have a tracking system so we can go through and actually notate what employees have specifically gone through what training and when they have to go to that training on an annual basis. For example, with respiratory protection, we know that's starting to come up, therefore we can reach out to you and you can schedule that for whatever it's about to come up so that they don't go and become delinquent. So the last section I want to show you is toolbox talks. Same thing over here. Again, these are your shorter versions of kind of what we looked at in awareness. These are usually the awareness trainings are broken down into sections. You will have, a lot of these, you'll have English versions along with Spanish versions. And again, these are short. These are 10 to 15 minute presentations. You can see there's quite a few in here. And again, we ask that you do these about once a week. Electrical safety toolbox talk. All that we're looking for you to do is kind of stand up in front of the group, maybe print out copies so everybody in the group can have their own copy, but literally just read through this, go through it, have a discussion about the safety options, have your leads also participate and maybe read certain sections of it. Get them involved and make sure that your employees that you're instructing these to have a firm grasp of electrical hazards and make sure they understand cords need to be organized and why it's important that they do so. And then the very last page again is sign-in sheet just like before. Make sure you have your branch location, who did the training. Again, write the name legibly and make sure they sign it saying they've gone through the training. It gets entered into our system so that then we can track what employees have gone through what training. So this is kind of a very quick overview of what BMSCATO is. Again, I would encourage you to actually take a few minutes, go in and look at it, play around in there. This is a resource for you. And if there's something in here that you have a need for that we don't currently have, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to work with you. Sometimes I have resources we haven't posted on here yet, and also helps me understand what we need out in the field as well. As always, be safe out there. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.